Okay. I'm in the studio. I keep hitting my knee. All right, we're going to have to watch this. We're going to have to watch out for this because I feel like this will happen quite a lot today. How is everybody? I'm so excited to be here. Today I'm really, really excited to be here. Okay, Selina's here already, so I'm going to just bring her in straight away. This is really exciting. I'm so excited, guys. Can you see me? Is the lighting? Is the lighting good?
Hi,
Hi, how are you?
I'm really good. Just a tiny bit tired, but yeah, I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
I'm very tired.
I can imagine. What have you been up to today?
I'm actually in the studio, so I've been recording,
Oh, wow.
and it would have actually taken me too long to get home, so I kicked the producers out, and I was like, I need the studio. We have to do Malika talks. We have a very important special guest. So how are you?
Good. I've been at Kidzania today, which is sort of like it's a place for children where they can act adult or grown
Yeah,
up. That's the best way
yeah.
to describe it. Absolutely beautiful. So I found 27 budding journalists that are going to help me put together the next issue and
Wow.
written about their heroes, which is Sancho, Saka, and Marcus Rashford. So
Right.
yeah.
Wow. This is so amazing. Do you know what? Like, honestly, I feel so thankful that you agreed to do this. So thankful that I'm getting the opportunity to speak to you. I actually feel like really emotional. What what you're doing is so important. Like for young black kids, it's so important. Like
Mm,
I don't have kids yet. Soon, one day.
one
But
day.
yeah, like it's just when I like because I've been reading up on you, so it's way too early to be crying. When I was reading up on you and your purpose for doing the magazine, and even just like it's the first magazine for young black kids, right? And
Yeah.
it's mad. It's so upsetting that in 2021 we are still doing the first black anything. Um,
Yeah. But just quickly on that, that's not our fault, really.
yeah.
I was in the publishing industry, and I'll talk about that later. And I
Mhm.
was blocked in so many areas.
Mm.
So it is the first, but this is not going to be, this is the start of something, and we're trying to create or, you know, teach young budding journalists all about the world of publishing. So it's an exciting time as well.
No, it's definitely exciting, and I don't say it in a way that like oh, it's our fault as a people, as a black people.
Yeah.
It's it's the position that black people are given, or not even given, like allowed. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
It's just it makes me very angry and makes
Mm.
me very sad, because there is some really terrible black people, but there are some really great black people. Do you know what I mean? Like just as there are some really terrible white people, as we're seeing, especially since Sunday. Do you know what I mean? But there are some really great white people. Like why are Asian just all black people? So it's like why is it black people are thought of as less than or not given
Mm.
certain opportunities or are deliberately labeled for things. Do you know what I mean? That's why I get angry. That's why I get upset.
Yeah.
That we're still doing firsts in 2020.
Yeah, I do understand what you're saying. I feel right now there's a movement, and even being on this journey, I'm seeing, because to be honest with you, the people that are pushing me further don't look like me. And that's something that is quite interesting. So, you've got the community that really want this magazine, that really are pushing it. And then you get to a certain level and you look for people like you that are up there, and they can sometimes block you. I'm going to be honest with you.
Okay.
allies, I'm finding mentors, people, you know, we were awarded our first award by Holly, who runs, or who's the owner of notonthehighstreet.com, gave us £10,000 just like that. Do you know what I mean?
Wow.
And for us, I'm finding that my allies don't look like me right now, that are up there, and
Okay.
that are helping me push the magazine further.
Is that because I think that's a really great place to start? Do
Yeah.
you think that there are financial limitations? Like, I know obviously, especially when you are self-employed, when you are creating, like even somebody giving you time. Also, did you send me the book?
Yeah,
Like,
I did. I got them sent first class. They didn't come.
they didn't come, but speaking of, I know I mentioned it in our message in our private chat. Please send me your payment details. I absolutely, it's very important.
Yeah.
So I said it in our message, but I also wanted to say it here, like, so that you know I'm being serious. Like, it's obviously it's not going to be £10,000,
No,
but
no, I understand.
for me to, I wasn't asking you to send them as a freebie. I wanted to have them so that I could promote it in this chat. And I want to pay for them. So please do send me those.
Thank you. I will. I will. But I mean, I think you should be receiving the latest issue. I mean, we've changed it up. Literally, it was more educational.
Yeah.
And I've got a little focus group, and I spoke to them, and they're like, can we have a little bit more fun things? And I really changed up this issue, and you can see everyone is just so happy. We've got now a fashion section, and it's so lovely. And also the children get a free taster book, which is one thing we're big on, is encouraging children to read.
Right.
Yeah, you know, we've this let me see if I can show you, but this issue we've actually showcased our first published author. She's only 7, and she's now got her book or her story published in a Scholastic book, which is incredible. That was a competition we did with Scholastic, the publisher. So we are really working to get children into publishing and writing, because, you know, I'll talk about it. I was blocked on a level you will never understand. And that block was not from school. School was fine for me. But when I entered the world of publishing, I couldn't get through. And so I quit. That's
Wow.
the honest answer. I quit. I said, I can't do this anymore. And I'm not saying everyone should quit, but maybe you need to have a break and rethink, and then maybe come back. But I'm back now, and I'm back to stay, and I own my own publishing company. So
I was going to ask congratulations, and that's amazing. And I was going to publish you because when I was looking online, I actually have the website up, and I'm kind of glad that I'm actually in the studio. It means I can like listen with the different in. I'm just so sorry that I didn't get to
yeah, I'm sorry it didn't come.
No, I wanted to. It's fine. I'll do like all the promo and stuff as well. But I really wanted to just take some time to highlight the website.
You see, Geneva, this is the little girl here. Her spread. Basically, a big educational publishers approached me. They want her to be a writer, and they want to publish that and pay her. You know, it's all these things. These children have written stories, they've written things, and now the world is like, who's that? Right, can you give me their details? It's just, it's amazing to see.
And empowering, I'm sure.
Yeah, it really is.
So, okay, let's start from the beginning. So you worked in like design before. You worked for like Virgin, just doing
yeah,
and other publishing house, like other companies, right?
yeah.
And then, so was it last year during lockdown that you launched it, right?
Yeah, it was.
Working on it previously, like had you been working on it sort of behind the scenes, trying to get it off the ground and stuff?
So I'd say that I've always had the idea to do a magazine. Okay, so I did a magazine called Fresh Health Childcare. No, Fresh Health magazine, sorry. It was a mum and baby magazine, because I used to put on expo shows in Beckenham, where I used to live. And I got sponsors. That was good, but didn't take off. So I, it didn't, you know, didn't continue. I launched a magazine called Arise. So this magazine was launched about 10 years ago, and I wrote, it was when Michael Gove was the educational secretary, and I wrote him probably about 13 times with the same idea. Please, can you take a look at this? And I got 13 rejection letters, so I didn't do that. And then with, I'll take you back to the beginning where my daughter had experienced a bit of bullying at school. She did not like her hair. She didn't like what she looked like. So I decided to do a book project. Now, because of COVID, my timelines are all messed up, but it was the January before COVID. And it was brilliant. Like, I sold about 200 of these photography books, which are very rare now. I don't sell them anymore because I'm about to launch another book with Farshaw. And it was brilliant. We got on Channel 5 News with it. So I did that on the side. It was always a side hustle. But when I went to go to the shops now for lockdown, and I wanted to find some magazines which spoke to Faith, where she could see herself, where she could look through and not feel like sad, oh, I don't look like any of these children, you know, I said, right, let's do our own. And it was a fun, beautiful project. She wanted to be on the front cover. This image was taken because she was so stressed from the photo shoot we had in our house. I said, look, just go and eat the lolly, because she was just going on and on about this one. And her dad snapped this. Her dad took this picture. And literally thousands of people have this magazine. I did not expect that. I wouldn't have put Faith on the front cover, because she wasn't going on my book cover, because I protect her. Like, I really protect her. So yeah, that's how it all started. I think I've always wanted to do a magazine, but I was blown away by just this gap. And again, took the magazine idea to an old colleague that I used to work with. And he said, never, nobody, like, we know how hard it is to kind of, you know, sell things that are done by Black people in magazines. Do you think someone's going to buy a magazine about the Black culture? But I did it anyway. You know, our culture is amazing. You know, we're exploring the continent of Africa. We're just doing so much in this magazine. And
I mean, no, very interesting, because there is this very much so this narrative that Black things don't sell, when actually Black people are the leading people of culture, lead culture, music, fashion, style, like historically, if you look at things, you know, for example, just covering your hair. So I don't know if you know this, but like back in the day, in slavery days, Black women were told to cover their hair. It made them, I don't know, it made them more attractive. But now, like, I'm taking these plats out tomorrow because they're rude. I'm going to be wearing a headscarf. I'm going to wear it as a fashion statement. And you know, now you see, I mean, I know obviously in other cultures they do it for religious purposes, but the fact is, you know, something that even when Black people are oppressed, we find a way to create beauty out.
You're so right, actually. You're right. That's it. When we are, look at what's just happened. Look at all this thing with the, you know, not scoring a goal. It's, you know what? It's football, for goodness sake. This is not life or death. It's football. Anyway, that's what I wanted to. But out of this, you know, these boys could have, you know, gone on social media. They could have posted up and just told everybody what they thought about them. They remained silent. Then they did speak about what they've gone through and said, look, I'm so, like, they told us how they felt. And this outpouring of love, you know, it's just incredible. And I think we as a community, I don't know how I can describe it. We're incredible. We're absolutely incredible. And I'm blown away by just as well the shared talent that comes to me, whether it's via email, whether it's somebody saying, have you seen this, you know, young person, they've written this, they've drawn this, and they're singers. Because I used to be also a singing teacher in schools. So I would work with the Harris Academies, primary schools, and do choirs. And you know, I always want to get the best out of children. I love children. I'm never nervous around them. That's why I do a lot of lives with them. At 7, I'll do a live with them, because yeah, I just find, you know, within our community, you have a group that sometimes is prevented from shining, and we have so much light to give to the world. And when we do, it's like, whoa, you know. So
It's groundbreaking. It's groundbreaking. And I think, you know, back to the guys on Sunday, listen, anybody, or 99.99999% of the people sending racial abuse or have anything negative to say, they could not even last a 90-minute kickabout in their local park. Okay? Yeah. Let alone do a penalty in front of maybe even billions of people. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, regardless, those and I don't just mean the black boys, I mean the England team, right? But the black boys, like, they've made history. They've made history regardless, and it's so silly. And I'm not saying it's just because it's football, because football's really important to people. That's absolutely fine. But it's just the idea of, like, you can sit there behind your keyboard, or do you know what I mean? Like, you're walking down the street, you want to vandalize some art or whatever, just because, like, these guys miss something that you couldn't even do your absolute best day.
But it just tells you as well, and you know, that these were fans. Now, if there was a fan, say for instance, Beyonce sang, she's got her fans. Beyonce messed up a note or something, I don't know, or didn't win an award. Do you think her fans would switch on her like that?
This is great.
Then they weren't really fans in the first place.
Absolutely.
You know, my son wants to be a football. He loves football. Will I encourage him? I'm not sure after this.
Yeah.
Because why would I encourage him to play for a team that will never, ever appreciate him? And that's how I felt in the publishing world. I would never, ever appreciate it. I would stay in that office for hours trying to prove myself. But I was never, ever appreciated. In fact, my work was used and passed off of somebody else's. I remember just going back into publishing, I had an art editor that I don't know how she got the job, okay? But she would always rely on me, ask me questions, to ask Serlina, how do I do this? How do I do that? And I remember one time she had deleted an entire brochure for a company, a sailing company that I used to design for. And she asked me to lie, yeah, and say, look, can you lie and say that you deleted it? And I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. And for some reason, I'm the one that ended up in HR.
Wow.
So that's what I'm saying. We are at this point, I guess, where there are certain industries that you really try, and you know, look how long racism has been in football. Look at John Barnes. I think one time he was on a plane, and I can't remember who said it, and he was going to play football, and someone on the plane said he shouldn't be playing, and he was the best footballer there at the time. Look how much. So there's different industries that really need to make a change, and publishing is one of them. And just quickly, I don't want to keep going on about it. So we were asked to go for Children's Magazine of the Year for the PPA Awards, and I did a really big post on it because I was absolutely upset.
Right.
I was approached by the PPA. Please sign up to this membership, pay this amount of money. It was quite a lot of money. And we've created a new category for you, because literally you have done this phenomenal magazine. That's how it was sold to me. Yeah. Ignored it, kept coming back, buy this membership, eventually bought the membership. Are you going to go for it? You know, you're incredible, your magazine is great. I've got the emails, I've got the paper trail, I have the receipts. And basically, to cut a long story short, we thought we were going to win because that's how it was pitched to us. And I'm not going to lie, nothing else I would talk about, but I'm going to talk about the PPA because, again, this is the system. So when it was time to announce the winner, I knew we had lost when the host said, oh, my daughter loves princess magazines, so I'm about to announce. And it said the winner of the category, which wasn't us. Yeah?
Right.
My heart my heart, because it brought back memories of when I was in publishing and I wasn't good enough to be around the table. I wasn't good enough to be at those awards. I was never invited to go to the PPA Awards. My art directors were using my work. Yeah.
Wow.
So that the magazine that won because they introduced a diverse character, and that diverse character is a villain and looks like me. That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the industry
Yeah.
that we are in. Yeah. The publishing industry needs a shake up, because where we've come in now, and where you will see distributors say a magazine like Coco has surpassed all magazines because we have been in the media so much. A magazine has never been in the media like that before. They don't understand what's going on. Yeah. They don't know what's going on. Someone said, was it a vote system? It wasn't a vote system. It was judges that did not look like me. All the judges. Yeah. And I will openly say about the PPA, because I will never, ever, ever apply, even if they ask me to, for those awards ever again. And I've said it here. So they need to have a shake up, because again, it was going back down memory lane. I don't want the new generation that is coming up to be a part of that. I don't want them to. I want them to know that these awards that Coco will probably create will be for everybody, will be fair. The judges will look different. And this is something that, you know, it needs a shake up, because once you can learn how to read, write, you know, the world is your oyster, and they know that.
And you know, you're just making so many points, but it's not just in publishing. It's really, you get to a certain level and nobody looks like you, or they just don't. And it's like, you know, I pray that as time moves on, things change, that the young people now come up, but I don't know. And then the you hear is that you know, I tweeted something the other day. I saw a lot of people posting a black square last June.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering what exactly has changed, because I know everybody posted it last June. I really wanted to see who was going to post it for the year anniversary this year. I didn't really see any. I thought that was interesting. I don't know what changes have gone on. I know in my industry, the music industry, that I've not really seen any changes. I saw some changes at that time, and some of those actually did involve me and did create it just gave me a bit of strength to just be like, no, this is not acceptable. I wasn't treated correctly. And those that were necessary, creating your own awards, saying your name right.
That's what we're gonna do. But yeah, what was you saying about the music and just
right? Yeah, I spoke up, and those around me, they did fix it, and make amendments and stuff, but you know, sort of on a wider scale. And actually, the things that I flagged got fixed, but in terms of like the continuation of and relationship after that, there has been a shift, and it was almost like I stayed silent and to be a part of certain things, or I spoke up to get my, you know, what I should have been given to begin with. And I've noticed a shift in that relationship, even though some of those same people still put up black squares. You know.
But the key is to speak up, because I've never not spoken up in terms of, if I see something, I'm going to say it, you know. And especially with the awards, I will go back to the PPA. I'll ask them to remove me as a member, because I'm not going to be a member of them again. And I'm going to give them some advice. You need to shake it up. If they ask me and say, could you sit on the board, we possibly might have a conversation. But
you know what? If that came from that, it would be a start. I think, like, I don't know your exact journey, but even praying that maybe that's the the energy that they come back with, because you would be able to be that voice. It's not enough that there are no Black people in these boardrooms across the world. It's not, it makes no sense. Like I said, Black people influence culture on a day-to-day basis.
Right.
So that it doesn't make sense that when you are talking about culture and things that represent culture, and I don't mean Black culture, I just mean human culture.
Yeah.
You have a Black, an Asian, an Indian, a Chinese, a Russian, or like, do you know what I mean? A white, like whatever. Like, I mean, Russian. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I do. And it's interesting, you know, you say that, you know, at the end of the day, a good salad is not just made up of lettuce. Yeah, you get your olives, you get your tomato, you get your cucumber. It takes lots of people. And this is, you know, even with the magazine, you know, I you know, even though we give Black children a voice, I'm looking at other cultures as well. And want to, you know, do you want to contribute? I do. I have so many other people. You know what? I'm, you know, from this culture, and I'd love a magazine like that. Well, let's just have a conversation. Do you want me to help you? Like, it's about everybody working together. And I think as well, there's not enough people speaking up, so that's why we have these situations that keep going on and on and on and on. It's like, you know, why are we still at this point where people are really being, you know, racially abused on Twitter? Why is it that they will show a really offensive word to Black people trending on Twitter? Like, why would you post that? Why would Twitter even put that out there? Like, I'm just saying, we need to keep speaking up, because we may be the smallest community, but our voices, when we get together, we are so loud and we make change.
Listen, I argue with my friends all the time about this. I say there's a real narrative that Black people are a minority, but in the world. That's all I have to say on that. Like, I don't even use the word minority to describe myself. I actually offensive, because it makes no. There are, once upon a time, 100%, like when my grandmother came over, there were not many Black people in this country. Now there's very many Black, brown, and especially mixed race people running around. Like, at this point, I genuinely do not believe that we are a minority. And when my friends, one of my friends came back at me and was just like, yeah, but if you check the census, and I was like, but who controls the census? The same people that are calling Black people a minority, again, it's bag. The same people that are calling Black people a minority are the same people that control the census. So there could be 1 billion Black people in England. They tell you
we met. I mean, I tell you, where I've moved to, I'm looking out. I mean, I'm out in the country now, and we're probably, you know, there's probably about 10, 15 Black people up here. But I don't really, I'm up here, but I spend most time in London. If that, this is my escape in terms of where I can, London. If that, this is my escape in terms of where I can think. I just love the country. But I worry for Faith. I'm always worrying for Faith, because I took her to Brixton Monday and she was like, Mummy, wow, I love it. And you know, she's just, she's missing London.
Yes.
But I get up here, I come up here in terms of to just have that peace sometimes, in terms of just, I love the countryside. You know, I might have a tough day, I go for a long drive in the country, I go by the water, we were quite close to Portsmouth, but there's something about, like, as I said, I love Brixton. I love being around my community. It's so good. I love the fact that if I ask, say for instance, an old Jamaican man, where is such and such, he says, it's just over there, and you know, there's like, the directions do not make any sense, but it makes sense to him, and I could just listen and talk with him for a long time. I think we have so much to give. We have so much to give. I think a picture has been painted about our community that isn't true, you know, and we need to really change that narrative, because the beauty I'm seeing just from doing the magazine is mind-blowing. Like, it's just amazing. And I'm just finding so many talented people within our community.
And I'm not, that doesn't surprise me. I mean, I love obviously the I mean, I live in Buckinghamshire as well. Like, I live out of London too. So I out when I was about 9. And I know one of your interviews that you said that your daughter was like she was like one of the only black kids, or
Yeah, she was the only. So they started off in her class, 5 black children, right?
right.
And all left, leaving Faith as the only one in her class.
Wow.
And she was struggling. She was struggling. And just quickly, I removed her because this is the main reason. I went for a parents' evening. Now, even though Faith is the only black girl in her class, in the year, it's because it's a big school, there were 10, I'd say.
Right.
They did a display called Year One Display, and they only had children that didn't look like her on this display for Year One. And they all had blonde hair. That's another thing. Okay, so not only did they all had blonde hair. So I thought, this is, there would have been black children looking for themselves. Faith would have been looking for her face. When I looked up, I saw what I thought was some sort of gollywog painting. Yeah, but it had a school uniform on, and the skin was blended in with the hair, 2 big tails, and then the lips were red, the eyes were white, the school uniform was on. I was like looking at it saying, I'm offended. I don't know what that is. Then my daughter runs in and says, Mummy, that's me. My teacher did that. That's me.
Oh no. Oh, Jesus Christ.
So
oh.
my husband said, no, Serlina, no.
No.
So I had to take all that I had in my mind to go into that parents' evening, compose myself, and Faith chats in class, and Faith does this, and Faith does that, and listen to all of that, and compose myself and talk to the head teacher in the next day, who didn't understand what I was talking about. She then asked me, come in, Mrs. Boyd, let's talk about this, let's reason. I said, do you think that looks like a lovely painting? I said, I used to do art, so I tell you what you could have done. You could have made all the children paint themselves. Yeah? You could have made them do that and make them see themselves as one as well. Like, you shouldn't have just had the children that look like each other here and then a black child here painted. So she already feels she's different. Oh, Mrs. Boyd, I don't get the point. I don't know what you mean. Then the one black teacher, which is a teaching assistant, saw it and was offended. So she said no. So she said, okay, right, well, maybe Mrs. Boyd, can you come in for another conversation? And this conversation was about Black History Month and how they had celebrated it. So I said, well, I as a parent didn't know that you celebrate Black History Month. So she said, yes, I showed an ex-drug dealer on the screen and I showed how he has changed his life around.
From this school, who is this teacher?
I can't tell you the school. The school knows who they are. Then that was that, right? That was that. Then I get a call the day I'm meant to have a third meeting now about this display, and I'm taking it because I'm an Ofsted registered childminder. I want it to go to Ofsted now because it's not acceptable. So I get a call because at this time I'm childminding at my house and with my assistant. I get a call. Mrs. Boyd, you need to come and collect your daughter. So it's a week later. Why? What's wrong? Well, nothing. She's just got a bit of gravel in her head, in her forehead. She fell over. When I go there, my daughter's face is caked in blood, and she has a hole, a little hole in her head. Nobody can tell me how it got there. Faith is shaking, so I'm like, we need to call the ambulance. I'm also going to get someone to do a risk assessment. I want to know what's happened. So I'm in here going crazy. My child, I'm like, why is the ambulance not called? Why have you not cleaned her up? And that was the last day she was at that school. Absolutely. I removed her. Absolutely. I removed her. The trauma of my baby, the trauma. And she got that because she was pushed over. I don't know if it was accidentally or what, I'm not sure, but she was playing with the boys because no one else would play with her. Yeah,
this sounds
I would drive around the school and when the children, some of the children, you know, would take them to the park, and I'd drive around the school, and I'd see Faith in the playground playing by herself.
You're gonna make
playing by herself.
This such, you know, like, because even as you're saying, right? So I went to primary school in Northwest London, and there was like lots of different people. Like anybody in Malika talks. Please also put your questions for Serlina in the comments. We'll get to them. But yeah, so a lot of like black kids, and then I went to secondary school in Amersham, and I mean, you said like 10 black kids in your daughter's year. There was like me, a Trace boy called Daniel, and I think that was it in the whole school. Oh, and an older African girl called I don't know, my sister used to plait her hair. I can't remember. And that was it in the year. There was no black teachers or anything. And then as the year, that was when I went in year 7, and then it wasn't until year 9, like 2 other black boys came, one in my year, and the older lady, I think her name was Tendai. I'm sure it was Tendai. And then towards the end, sort of year 10, year 11, there were 2 younger black boys, and it just so happened that I ended up hanging out with like the ethnic. So it was like me, the other 2 African boys that came later on, the 2 younger boys, one was West Indian, one was also African. So and we took them under our wing. There was a Filipino girl, and there was like this one white guy who was just like wigger, but like he literally said, like, I'm the wigger of the group. Like he just loved trying to be black. Actually, there were 2 other mixed race girls that came as well. But the point being, in the whole school, there was literally at any one time max about 8 of us. Max.
Listen, I went to a school in Abbeywood. So back then, Abbeywood was absolutely racist. I witnessed the death of Roland Adams. This is one of the first racial attacks. But my primary school, I was the, you know, one of the only black girls in my class. There was another girl that joined later, but the most popular girl, who didn't look like me, was my best friend. I never experienced any racism.
Yeah.
Because I never did. So it was, and then, yeah, so I had a beautiful primary school experience. Only on the way home I experienced racism. Okay, I have little girls, I'll just stare at her. Ooh, look at her hair. Look at her. Ooh. So to this day, if somebody that doesn't look like me stares at me for too long, I get flashbacks. I'm like, is it because of, from that childhood experience going home from school? But I went to Blackie Bluecoats, multicultural. We had black, white, in everybody. The best time. Blackie Bluecoats was the best time of my life. I loved it. But there was the saddest time was when Stephen Lawrence died. That was tragic. That I don't think we ever got over that. You know, that was when racism was, that's where I looked at racism and I thought, oh my gosh, why did they kill him? Because he was black. I didn't understand. That's when I was introduced to that. But going to an all-white school, I did not experience it once. Hence why I thought it would be fine for Faith. But you know, but Faith, I guess, is different to me as well. You know, I could make friends with, you know, I don't care what you're going to say about me. I'm going to, you know, try and be your friend. Whereas Faith is very sensitive. But there were things said to her which were unacceptable. One day I picked her up and she said, Mummy, Johnny called me a poo-poo today. I changed the name Johnny just to protect the little boy. And I said, but Faith, you say that all the time. She said, Mummy, he's talking about my skin. And then you have these conversations with the parent and go, oh, no, my Johnny would never say that. And then Johnny says it again. Yeah. So Faith dealt with so much. There was name calling. There was her, I did her hair for picture day because I can cane roll. So I did it in this cane roll style with beads. And so she had picture day, I dropped off at school. And when you pick your child up, you wave, okay? And they come over to you, you can't. And as Faith is weaving through the crowd, this one lady that doesn't look like her says, "What a funny hairstyle." I prayed that my child did not hear that. Yeah? Because why would Faith want to know that someone said her hairstyle is funny? Continuously her hair was pulled again. It's so, and someone said, yes, that's learned behavior. But you
Yeah.
know what? I feel that where we moved to, because it was the pace, I really wanted to have a house, Beckenham. I loved it, loved it, loved it. But I saw a side where I felt dropping Faith off to a school that was predominantly white, we were not welcome. I had to fight for Faith to get into that school. It wasn't a private school, but it was a school that you had to fight to get into if you were just a little bit out of the catchment area. And when dropping off Faith at the school, I always felt I was not welcome. I remember I drive like a van. So it's like all these children I would come and pick up and everything. And I remember this parent blocking me so I couldn't get through, and I had blocked the whole of the parents. And this woman was like, "You and your vehicle," and really going into me. And that day, Faith had got a certificate at school for really lovely manners, best behaved. And I thought, why would you pick on me? You know, you would never target any of the other parents. And she really went in on me, and it took the hardest thing for me not to say anything. Yeah.
But you're like, these stories that you're saying, like, I mean, I know a couple of people have like said in the comments, hair by Casey Styles, another one, Linda, thank you guys for like adding your experiences and listening to the chat. Mikel, oh, please, Mel, but no one is born to hate.
Melchizedek. I love that name. Melchizedek.
Oh, lovely. From Cyprus. We love this. We love this. But yeah, you and your daughter, I tell you, I already said, if anybody bullies my child, where do they live? I'm going to go with the toilet paper, and we're going to throw, me and my baby, going to throw the toilet paper all over the people's house. And then we're going to drive. You have to have that kind of strength. And I have no problem saying that I don't have that level of maturity or strength, because like when it comes to my child, it's a no. Do you know what I mean? And maybe that is because of so my mum is mixed race, my grandmother is white, my other grandmother is black, my dad's mom, she's black, and we come from like a United Colour Benetton family. I'm black, and my youngest brother, his dad is white, so that's who like my mum. I'm just telling all of my mum's business, right? That's when we moved to Amersham. So we moved. I moved in. Me, my mum, and my older sister. We moved into my stepdad's house, and he had 4 white children, like my stepchildren, my stepbrothers and sisters, and then my white stepdad. Luckily, like me and my grew up with my dad. But and also luckily we come from a mixed race family. So me being heavily around all of these white people didn't affect. It affected me 100%, but it didn't affect the same sort of way, because my white gran loves me as much as my black gran. And anyone again talks, you would have heard me talk about my white nan all the time. She is a nightmare to pieces, and I miss my black grandmother. But you know, when you say these things, I totally empathize, and they resonate with me, because there was a time where, you know, I used to hate my hair, like wearing it up with the little stressful thing, like I couldn't wait to get a perm. Hearing these stories about your 6-year-old, like 6 is just too young. Like it's just too young.
It is too young, and you know, I feel for Faith. I'm you know, we are homeschooling her now, and yeah, someone just said, I think the experience will preparing you for the magazine. Definitely. I mean, me coming out of publishing and childminding, if you know the amount of nappies I used to change, yeah, and the days where I was so tired looking after children, but I did it because I love them. I love children running around my garden. I had a fairly big garden in Beckenham, and loved them coming in and call me Auntie Serlina. I'd make them fried dumplings. I'd introduced my culture to them, and they loved it. Rock them to sleep. So all of that, trying to childmind and the publishing, was preparing me for Coco. That's what you have to take it. You know, you learn from the experiences. I'm about to turn 40 next month, and it's only now I'm living life. I don't know, those years that I've had were not my best. This is my best. This is what I'm doing. This magazine fuels me, gets me up, and you know, let's do this. Let's go. Like yeah. Don't focus on the past. Focus on the now. And at the end of the day, the experiences you go through, because as I said, I didn't go through stuff at school at all, but it was the workplace. I was bullied. I had a boss. He said to me, "Oh, Selena, you know, do you have a criminal record?" And I was like, "Are you serious?" He thought I had a criminal record. Oh, we're playing these interns like the slave trade in a meeting, and you're the only black person there, and you've got to hear these things.
I can't.
You've got to hear these things. And the thing is, I basically used to design a magazine called Chris World, which is for Singapore Airlines. And if you go through it, they've got lots of pages, not hundreds of pages, of CDs, because you can find any music album on Chris World Airlines or Singapore Airlines. And I used to go in and change the CD covers. That was my job for like 2 or 3 years in design, you know, until I went in and to the MD's office and I said, I've employed an intern who's been promoted over me. I want more because my art director isn't giving me more. He was like, okay, follow me to Virgin Atlantic on Monday. I'm giving you to them. They need a magazine done in 2 weeks. It nearly killed me, but I did it. But all of that I learned in the industry, being thrown into the deep end, was preparing me for Coco. And, you know, Coco has a massive meeting tomorrow. So put it this way, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 main channels on the TV. Yeah. One of them has asked to pitch a TV show to us. That never, ever happens.
Well, do you know what? Let's congratulate you in advance. One of my cousin's friends, she went for a job interview, and my cousin told me that her friend, I hope my cousin's watching, that her friend went out and bought herself flowers. She bought herself champagne, and she celebrated in advance. And I was like, that is such an, like, you know, so I'm congratulating you in advance. And if there was champagne here, I would open it, but I just have water, so I'm raising a glass to you.
I've got some sort of smoothie.
Okay, here's
it.
Yeah.
So we you know, nothing's being announced yet, but that's the meeting I have in the morning, and where people have spent years trying to get their own, something came to us, not a production company, but a channel. And you know, it's incredible seeing this brand grow. Yes. I don't want it grow. I don't want it to lose what we originally wanted to do, and that is to help young black children and children. You know, I don't want us to be so starstruck that we're going here and there and we don't focus on what the agenda is. And the agenda is to you know, help because parents are doing a phenomenal job as well. Yeah. Help raise these incredible children that know how to write, know how to read, experiencing the whole continent of Africa. You know, I you know, learning about just the different places, Kenya, and it's just helped me, you know. That's what the mission is, if that makes sense. So yeah,
there's been a couple of things in the comments that I want to highlight. So there was one from this young girl who said she's been bullied. She's in year 8, Mia.
Mm.
And she said, I started secondary school and I was bullied from year 7 till a few months ago. I lost weight and now I am the rabbit with the gun, and now the school is calling me a bully.
Mm.
I was bullied in primary school, but I was bullied in primary school by my black best friend, so it doesn't count. But how would you sort of working with kids? What advice would you give?
Mm. I would firstly want to know if they've had any meetings with the school. So it's important that this needs to stop, you know. It really does need to stop, and it's not acceptable. So the first thing is to have meetings with the school and meetings with the person or the parents of the bully as well. That's important too. I mean, obviously I need to know the whole story and what's going on there. But Mia, if you're there, I would, you know, just send me a message as well. Or mummy, send me a message and let's have a chat after this in terms of, you know, trying to figure out ways of how we can work with the school. Because, you know, bullying on any level is unacceptable. Okay. And at the end of the day, this is what children are facing in their everyday lives. So it's about looking at the situation and how we can change it for the better.
Okay, thank you so much for offering your time to with that. But absolutely, Mia, if you're still watching, please do get in contact with Serlina or get your mum, dad. Is she still watching? I'm kind of
Mia Alice Photography said thank you.
Yeah,
it's not acceptable, and the thing is that to keep silent is the worst thing. So to open up is absolutely brave, bold. Yes, again, that's brilliant. Someone's put, please can Mia add at iam.somebody UK. They are a mentoring workshop. Brilliant as well. To have someone to talk to is really, really important. Just quickly, when I started this, when I did the book and the magazine was about to kind of blow up, as it were, I had somebody called Coach Carla. I will forever love Coach Carla. She did a Zoom call with me with all these women, and they just spoke things to me and encouraged me. So it's always good to have a mentor or somebody that you can speak to.
Absolutely. No matter what age you are. There's another lady here called Bella B. Said, I featured Faith on our school's Wall of Fame. The theme yours. I saw that. I didn't think you saw that, but I had to call that out. That's like amazing and so beautiful.
I'm so thankful.
You and your daughter are really like you know, even if you just touch one person, right? You are touching thousands and thousands of more people, right? But even if you just touch one person, one little black girl, like you've already done the job. The fact that your daughter is she's gone from this racist, awful white teacher saying that your daughter's a dog on the wall, okay?
But you know what? I will say this. I don't look at it like that. I look at it as she thought maybe that was nice, and that's another thing. But listen, this is what I will say. There's some people that don't know any better, so I see, I'm always trying to look at it as I'm going to help educate. I'm going to help. Where can I help? But I got to the point with the school where I said, I even when I started the school, I said, I'm a singing teacher for children. I like to get the best out of children. Can I come and do a choir at the school? They blocked me so much. Oh, Miss Boyd, you can't. Oh, Miss Boyd. So I've always tried, wherever my daughter is, I've always tried to help, to be in there, to find out, okay, how can I buy some more diverse books for your school because you have nothing? At the end of the day, I don't feel this teacher, and I really seriously will say this wholeheartedly, knew that that would be offensive. She just was not educated, and in terms of how maybe a child could feel, because I've studied child psychology. I've studied a lot to do with children when it came to child minding. So I don't feel it was deliberate at all. This is me personally. I don't, and I wouldn't call her out like that. But what I do say is that if that something like that happens, we have to work to help. But if we're still trying to help and they don't want to change, then we move on. We just wipe our hands or whatever, dust our feet off, and we go. And that's what I did with Faith. I took her out. I contacted the council and said, I'm homeschooling my daughter. I found another school. We moved. I'm still homeschooling her, but for September, I have to go and find a school because my workload is getting a lot. But in one sense, actually, I'm toying because Faith is homeschooled by a brilliant tutor. So, but I see where she misses sometimes children, you know, and going to school, you know, so
experience. And you know what, in regard to that teacher, I don't know her, that's not my experience.
Yeah.
But and sometimes people, they just don't know better. And also, you can have racist tendencies without racist. There is a very big difference. But I think that what sometimes white people misunderstand is that just because they're not calling a black person a nigger or not saying...
But I would say some. I can't label... Yeah. I would say some. It's really important to say that.
No,
because, yeah.
My nan's white. My nan...
Yeah.
Like...
No, I get it, but you know, sometimes people have a tendency to say like, oh, there are, I'm telling you, there is a large group where are just campaigning as well for change. Yeah.
And not, but the white Asian, Asian covers India and China as well. But do you know what I mean? Like, those people who are, for want of a better word, allies, I'm not a problem. Nobody's even, I'm not even looking at you. It's the ones that are racist, the ones that are deliberately stopping anybody. Like, it would be if you were disabled, or if you were, do you know what I mean? Or Jewish, like, if you're not against any of those people, nobody's ever talking about you, talking to you. Fine. Do you know what I mean? And I always
and some just quickly, someone's just said children watch this, so I think because I don't know if the N word was used, but I know what you mean. We have to be just mindful of what we use and things like that. Thanks for pointing that out, Faith. We got to be, because like for me, I have to, what I'm doing, or if I'm on a live, it's very, very, I don't like to label or, you know, say, I feel like Coco is doing a job, doing a work, and I feel like there is change coming, if that makes sense. It's not, you know, it's not just me doing the work, there's lots of people, but in our little area that we're doing, there's change. And I think, you know, but thank you, Faith.
Thank you, Faith. I apologize because usually when I talks, they're not with people who have their brand associated to children. So there are some languages, but I wasn't saying that. But what I'm saying is there are some people who can have racist tendencies without and there is a difference, and a difference between encouraging the word or trying to bring back slavery and also blocking people. Like, you cannot believe in that, but you can also be against a certain thing, and that's the difference. But you are doing great things, and I'm sorry I forgot. I forgot.
Listen. You've got, and this is what I love about our community. You've got people here that literally they just agreeing with what, you know, what's going on. You know, but it's just important to remember, and sometimes, you know, I kind of forget certain things, and it's now, how can we move this conversation on? Like, for instance, you got a lot of people now talking about representation, and I feel like there are things happening now, but it's time now to kind of not move the conversation completely on, but say, for instance, and I did have a word with the BBC, they're constantly putting up, oh, I don't see myself here. Oh, I don't see myself here. But they're not talking on the BBC about the changes that have happened. Do a follow up on now what Coco has done or what other people that they featured have done. You know, we need to kind of now show what's happening. Look what we did today at Kidzania. We had children of different cultural backgrounds writing for Coco. You know, beautiful.
So,
you know,
so this Kidzania, did you take your daughter there for the day, or did you do like a day partnership with Kidzania?
Yeah, so yeah, it was, today was a day partnership, but it's a workshop that we're just testing, and it was beautiful.
Okay.
It was absolutely beautiful. And to go around to the tables and see the children, you know, learning about being a journalist and writing, and they just, it literally, they were, because it was something, a positive message that they were saying to these three young heroes, because that's what I say they are, especially Saka. He went up, he was 19, the youngest, and took that last penalty. I will always have respect. And I can't wait for everybody to see the next CocoaBoy cover. It's being worked on. It's going to be incredible. But yeah. So I'm just saying, there's change happening. There is change. And sometimes I feel like we get caught up by saying, you know, they are not doing them, that, like, even what happened at Faith School, I know I've brought that up, but it was important for some people to hear that and to know that's not tolerated. But when you see something like that, speak up, because when I spoke up and I went on the news, the first, was it, yeah, when I did the book and I went on the news, the black people in the school, some of them weren't talking to me because I spoke up.
Wow.
Yeah. So even though some people may not want to be on this journey with you now, if you speak up from now and you see the change, they want to join in on that journey, if that makes sense eventually. So it's, it's always important to speak up because there is a journey, and I feel like Coco has now moved on for saying we're not being represented in magazines, we're seeing more representation, you know, the knock-on effects of Coco. And I never really realized this until I was at Westfield. Yeah, this was a moment. I was at Westfield. So obviously, as a magazine, and I'm not saying it all started there, we were shouting about role models. We were shouting about role models, how important it is for role models. And then there was a particular doll company that changed their campaign now about role models. And then when I looked up at in H&M in Westfield, it had a massive advert. We are looking for role models, and it's just,
wow,
you know, it's just, it's amazing to see how a small talking point when we were on the BBC, when we were saying, look, it's important for children to have role models that look like them, and this whole knock-on effect, how brands, especially brands, there are brands that are watching Coco, and that's incredible for me. And I say that it's not me saying, oh yeah, look at me, no, there are brands that are actually watching us, who have approached us, and yeah, so I'm just excited about the change. And that's where I think, as black people, we need to look at the change. How is it that so many people from different ethnic minorities have gone to Marcus Rashford's wall and have said, look, you know, this is what we want to do, you know, to support Marcus. It's not just black people there. There are white, black, whoever, going and saying, we are not tolerating this anymore. So, yeah, again, be the change. I don't like to dwell too much on the past, and, you know, but I had to, as I said, tell my story. But yeah, it's about us being the change. It really is.
Absolutely. And this magazine, honestly, like, hopefully I get to meet you and your daughter, that I can get her to sign the copies that you sent.
Yeah.
I'm gonna definitely my little nephew, I've got a couple nephews, but my sister's little boy, who I'm looking after next week. He plays football. He loves football. But I'm gonna make sure that like I get him a CocoaBoy magazine, and I'm gonna make sure that I'm sure when I tell my sister, she'll subscribe, because my sister is very she wants to encourage my nephew. He's 8. Is that bad if I don't know his age? Am I bad, auntie? He's 8, I think.
No, you're not.
But yeah, I'm sure she'll want to subscribe. But even if she doesn't, like I'm gonna definitely subscribe him I'm gonna do the subscription. I'll do it online later, because I think that it would be something that he would love and look forward to, and it will be definitely empowering for him to get his issue, because they come out every 2 months, right?
Yeah, so they're bi-monthly. So and that was another thing. When we got into the shops, we had to produce CocoaGirl twice as much as CocoaBoy. It was too much for us. And then I said, no, I want CocoaBoy in the shop. I have to have CocoaBoy in the shop. Believe it or not, CocoaBoy with Swiss on the front. And you know that last
I've actually done a couple of songs with Swiss. He's so lovely.
Yeah, he's lovely. Really, I actually respect him. I think he's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. But that magazine did so well, it kind of overtook CocoaGirl, you know, in terms of the sales for that month. So, and just another thing, and this is, you know, plain and simple, we make no money from the magazine being in the stores. That's something nobody really knows. We don't. But you know, it's mainly you're paying a lot out. You need a huge investment to get magazines in the store, and then also you don't make no money. But what I wanted was for children to see themselves.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Someone said, what, you don't make any money from magazines? I'd say for the first, let me clear that up. For the first 1 to 2 years, you ain't making no money. It's an investment, and for people then to see your magazine and then subscribe. Yeah,
right.
making you have to. And Coco is small, so we don't. It's all about advertising for us and for Black children to see themselves.
Absolutely.
And someone when it came to us, look, we can get you in the store. You know, somebody that was advising me at the time said, don't ever put the magazines in stores. Don't ever. Let's just quickly, someone said, how about another channel, Afro Shops? If you look at Afro Shops, those magazines in there that are Black magazines, they're given out for free.
Oh, wow.
Magazines in store. I will do a whole Instagram live on, you know, just what it is to do a magazine. So anyway, someone said, don't put the magazine in the stores. You ain't going to make no money, because obviously you make money online. You're making it, people are buying. But I said, that's not what it was about.
Yeah.
That's not what it was about. It was for children to see themselves going into the shop and picking up a copy of the magazine and saying, yeah. Now, from that, you make money off of the advertising. So we work with lots of brands. That's how you make your money. But having your magazine in the store by someone buying it, you ain't making nothing until about 2 or 3 years at that. Especially a small title that's not in all the shops. But then what I'm seeing now is our subscriptions are going up. So that's where we're making our money. People have discovered the magazine in the store that drives them to the website. That's how we.
And you know, it's like, even already, like there's a group that I'm that I'm in, or WhatsApp group called Dope Black Women. You heard of Dope Black Women?
Yes.
Right. So I know the guy and his wife who started it. I met him through music years ago, Harrison. And
yes, I might. Yes.
No, Marvin.
Yes, I follow him. I really,
really lovely. But they have another group, I think, called Dope Black Mums. So later today, like, I did post this in like the Dope Black Women's chat, but I'll message one of the girls from the organizers and say, you know, can I connect you guys because they actually have a chat for Black mums that will have either a son or a daughter or both.
Yeah,
And I think it might be cool for you guys maybe to like, even if they just post you on their platform and stuff like that, it, you know, just every little helps. But I
yeah,
did.
no, the thing is, when I say the magazines in the stores don't make, we have a growing subscription. So last month we had 480 subscribers. We didn't even know about that. So that's what I'm saying. We're not just in the shops.
Yeah.
Our subscriptions are going through the roof. Why? Because they're advertising, they're seeing it in the shops, they buy a copy, it drives them to the website. Right. And so that's where you're getting your growth. And also schools subscribe.
I was going to say, I read
subscribe. Yeah.
You've been in contact with the schools to get the magazines. How does that work, I suppose?
Yeah, so on the website we might have a school section, and we say, like, if you want your school to have the magazines, inquire here. And they will say, hi, can I have, there's one school that has 31 subscriptions each per month.
Wow. Okay.
That's right. Schools are our biggest thing. 31 subscriptions each. So yeah, then they will request that we give them the magazines at a cheaper cost as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's brilliant. But as I say, the magazines must stay in the store. They must, because eventually we will see some sort of profit, but it takes years. And again, when you want your magazines in store, you're investing, and it's not cheap. That's why maybe there isn't a lot of our magazines out there, because it's an investment.
I mean, I think this is great. Shane just messaged, said my school does. So his school,
yes,
22. His school is up on the time.
Shane is amazing. He is amazing.
All right. Yes. Well done, Shane. One of my friends, she's a teacher as well. So I'm actually going to see her on Saturday. She's a mixed race girl, but she's just pro anything positive, like free love, like Black people, white. She's a hippie. She's one of my best friends.
Wow.
So I can't wait to see her, and I'll speak to her about also possibly doing this, because she works with young Black and brown kids, and she's always sort of telling me about some of their struggles, or just like not their personal stories, but just like the issues that the school face and deal and challenges that, you know, with this generation of kids or whatever. So I'll definitely speak to her about this, because I know that if there's some way for them to, and that's as well. So
no, it's good. I mean, we've got some news coming as well. We've just been acquired by Readly. That's going to be announced next week. So that's a digital subscription. We are one of their magazines now. So people can pay $7.99 and they get CocoaGirl. You know, there's so much things. We've been acquired by an educational publishers. We're now in their digital library. So I'm saying there's lots. Oh, bye, Faye. It's lovely to have you. But yeah, there's lots of things that are happening that really help the brand. And as I said, it's our subscriptions that are key. It's really key. Like this month was crazy. 480 new subscribers. It's just, you know, we had to reprint the magazine.
Wow.
Yeah, you know, we just did not realize it. Just, you know, and one thing I will say, I have to big up Steve-O. His daughters are on the front cover, but you know, he's just been promoting the magazine like crazy. I probably had an extra 1,000 followers because of Steve. You know, that is incredible. He didn't have to, you know. And let me just tell you, this photo shoot was magic. These girls, I've never met such confident little young ladies. I haven't. And when you have a father and a mother that just love their children, you see it. You see it in the way they act, the way they're just so confident in front of the camera. And oh, you know, Denise, our stylist, she said it's the best shoot she's ever done. And she's been on shoots. She's worked for massive campaigns, Denise. but it was beautiful. And you know, I just really just want to say thank you so much to Steve-O. Thank you to Swiss, amazing as well. Just all the people that have featured on the magazines, that have really passionately sort of shared our magazines. It's amazing. Someone said reach out to White Yardie too. I think he was at the shoot, you know. I think
really?
he was at the shoot. Yeah, I'm sure he was there. I have to check. Because you know, when you see someone, you think, that face looks familiar. Where did I from?
I'm gonna check the accent, and then you would have really.
Yeah. Oh, I'm a big supporter. Yeah, and you know, I'm just meeting so many incredible people.
What you're doing is incredible. I remember like maybe like 5 years ago, I was in Brent Cross, and I remember walking past the jewelers on like the ground floor or whatever, if you know Brent Cross, like right by the escalators near the Marks and Spencers on the corner, if anybody knows. Anyway, and there was a picture of Cara Delevingne, but there was like her. I remember her because she was quite big. Well, she's still, but I just remember her picture. And there were like loads of other people, I think like Alexander Skarsgård as well. But I just thought it was probably the first time in my life that I stopped and I looked in a window and I was like, there are no black people here, like, or like Indian or mixed race. Like it was just white people. And I was like, it was the first time that I was really shocked at that. And even, you know, that's quite sad that I've gone sort of my whole life not even realizing that I didn't see myself in day-to-day life. And obviously,
but no, it's so funny because so many people have said, I didn't even. There was this gap. There was this clearly a gap in the market, and we've been conditioned. You know, if you think about it, by the age of 8, a black little girl is more likely to have been insulted by her looks. That's what the statistics show. By the age of 8, we've been conditioned to say, I don't have a place there. That. You know, somehow we've been conditioned by what we've been watching, by whatever. You know, I'm still doing, you know, trying to help Faith. You know, we had a conversation as I'm walking to the hairdressers in Brixton the other on Monday. Mummy, why don't I have silky hair? Faith, we have these discussions, baby. Are we going to go back there? But my hair's not silky and long. So we have to keep re-emphasizing. We have to, you know, right now she's trying to research on things that can grow her hair. So this is not going to take, you know, a year. It is a continual process. And that's why the magazines is important, and all the other things like Project Embrace, what Nakia's doing. I'm trying to think of the amazing projects that are happening. All the projects that are out there are so important and key to these children being raised to continually see themselves so that they do not have the same way of thinking that we do. Absolutely. That is acceptable.
Absolutely.
You know?
There are so many great things happen, you know, even like what Swiss is doing with like Black Pound Day, like the dope black women that they've got, dope black women, dope black men, dope black dads, dope black mom, like they, like even that as a brand, I've seen that grow over the last couple of years. Like it's just, you know, it's really giving all ages of black people a voice, you know what I mean? And we're taking, like, the adults now are taking a responsibility, and like from both ends, from like the olders to the youngers as well. Like we really are being that link, and empowering. And there was one thing that I saw watching, because I just stalked you online for the last couple of video of like you and your daughter. I can't remember which clip it was, and it was like at the end, and then she was like, "Mummy, can I just say something?" And then so she's like, "Oh, I like my lollipop." I was in stitches.
Say something. It's like, do you know what? The rapper Eve, she put that on her page. We discovered it about 2 months after she posted it. But I think Faith and Faith, from that BBC clip, she had job offers with Nickelodeon, with the BBC One show. She'll turn them all down. Someone said as well, you know, why not work with the Cabs family? I saw the Cabs family at the premiere of Space Jam last Sunday. I said, Faith, go and take a picture. Go and take a picture of this. Is it Malika? Who's the youngest one? She's so sweet. Faith said, no, I'm not. No. I just point blank refused. And the Cabs family like, come on, Faith, stand next to... And Faith's like, no, she's so shy. She's so shy. And we don't force Faith. I'm not this parent.
Yeah. And
you
it
know,
would be so easy to do with those kind of things. And maybe it's great, but obviously, and sorry, I didn't mean to cut you.
Yeah, Malaya, she's so sweet. Yeah.
But I also saw, like, in your interviews, you said that you know, there are scientists, there are journalists, like, always told you could be a rapper, sports player. That's a bit whatever coming from me because I work in music, but whatever. But it's so, you know, I would like, I did want to kind of be a lawyer, but when I was little, but I don't think I'm smart enough. But it's okay. But,
no, I was gonna say, this is the thing. You can be anything you want.
No, you absolutely can. That's just me being silly. I grew up I'm very lucky, loved by my family, told that I could be whatever I wanted to be. I just happened to end up in music. Maybe I just didn't have the discipline to be a lawyer, but that's another story for another day. But
music is powerful. I mean, I don't want to cut you as well, but my dad is an awesome singer. My dad can sing.
Nice.
I'm going to see if I can put a clip up of him singing. So I used to run a choir, and when he walked in, and it was like, oh, because my dad's one of those men that have the presence. Okay, I don't know if I can explain, but there's some men that walk in a room and they can stop the room. Yeah, I'm just saying that. I love my dad to bits. And he sang in Bromley Shopping Centre, Oh Holy Night. I'm going to put a clip up. And the whole place went, this is Christmas time, stopped. Yeah. I wish my dad would put out an album, but you know, he's not there yet. So music, I love singers. I want to hear your voice. I need to, you know, because I absolutely love music. And I just think it's so important, because yeah, you say you're just a singer. You're not just a singer. That's amazing. That's an art there.
Thank you so much. The worst thing is, I could be the worst singer in the world, and you're like, you know, you're not just a singer. You haven't even heard.
I can tell you're not by your speaking voice. I can tell you're not.
Well, thank you, but I do love that in your magazine. It's not just about the stereotypical things. You know what I mean? It's like it's so important for Black kids to know that they can work at the stock exchange, or they can be a scientist, or they can, do you know what I mean? Like all of these things that are outside of other, or outside of just what the generic stereotypes are, because there are millions of Black people, and there aren't, you know, that just doing normal jobs that are scientists, that are lawyers, that are doctors, you know, and using your platform as big as it is to highlight the other and not just the usual is very powerful as well.
Yeah, but saying that, you know, my dad will always bring this up, and he's my mentor. He's you know, I love him, and he always says when he told his teacher, I can't remember how old he was quite young, I want to be a doctor. His teacher laughed. I think the teacher fell off the chair. Right? And he's never forgotten that. Now, if I have a medical issue, right, and I'm not saying everyone should do that, but if I'm unwell, my dad knows what I need to take. He knows what I need to do. He should have been a doctor, yeah? But there was that one teacher that said, ha, 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 never going to happen. Now, the opposite happened with me. I worked on a project. I had to design a restaurant. I loved it. Spent hours on this project, and my teacher doesn't look like me. Said to me, "No," and I was like, "What's a graphic designer?" And that's how I discovered the world of design.
Wow.
And it takes one person, but you will find. I always say there are many people that have gone to their graves that could have been incredible. Michelle Obama talks about, I think it's
just about to say that. I was just about to say
with all this knowledge
and how didn't like, just for anybody who didn't know, she said her granddad was a grumpy man and and it was only when she got older and she got to university she realized actually he never got the chance to be anything other than he wasn't allowed to, you know. And it, you know, I was having a conversation with a lady at my gym. We're now friends. She's like 50. She's lovely. And we ended up just going to the shopping center after, and we were just talking in the car park for like 2 hours. This one that does a class with me on a Saturday. Big up Monica. Anyway, and we were having this conversation about sort of something similar. And I said to her, you know, have you ever thought about what your ancestors had to go through for you to be here?
Yeah.
Just you, because we were talking about something completely different, and it was in context, but it's just the idea of the millions of people who did not make it because of what their specific ancestors. And sometimes I do actually find myself in a daze. Like something might just happen. It's like, wow, like I don't even know what my ancestors had to go through just for me wanting to be here. Just it actually blows your mind. Like when you start to think of that, it could you just go down a rabbit hole. But it's like that thing where you say, you know, your dad, he should have been a doctor. So many
should have been.
So many people should have been. And that's why it's our responsibility to be and encourage those to be. And that's why I actually found you through, I watched Leanne Pinnock's TV show. She did a TV show about being black in the music industry, a really great race power pop on the BBC iPlayer, guys, if anybody gets a chance to watch it. And I went on her page, and then she's opened a black non-profit called The Black Effect with her partner. And then that's how I found you.
Wow.
And then obviously I reached out to you and I was like, I would love to talk to you. This is so. And then just the research that I've done, I think the live is actually going to cut out soon. But like since the live,
and I've got my charger. I just need to get my charger.
Well, I was going to say there was one other thing that you said as well about the magazine, that you have like your page of affirmations. And
I need to do some more actually. We do it every other issue. We try and get.
Okay, well, one affirmation that I love, I don't know if this, like, it's not from me, it's actually from Kris Jenner, but anyway, but
I'm keep talking. I'm just gonna get my charger. 1 second.
Okay.
You actually, yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Let me just. Can you get my charger for a minute? I'm just going to cut out. Yeah, sorry. I'm going to just check downstairs. Can you hear me?
I can.
I'm holding because my house doesn't have, my husband's saying like it should be on 4G. Got my charger. Yeah, keep talking.
Okay. One of my favorite, if it tells you no, you're the wrong person.
Say that again.
If someone tells you no, you're talking to the wrong person.
You're talking to the wrong person.
Yeah, if someone tells you no, you're talking to the wrong person. It's one of my favorite affirmations. It's so powerful. But yeah, when I saw that you do affirmations in your magazine, I was like really excited to see the magazine. I wanted to ask you, was it monthly? But you've now said it's bi-monthly. But yeah.
For me, we need to keep doing the affirmations. I think they're so important, and how you do them as well, because I know that a lot of parents talk about, you know, the children repeating affirmations, and I was like, well, what does that do? What does it do when you repeat? When you repeat something, you start to believe it. It is so important. So that's why as well, where you have to, I sometimes suffer with sometimes being a little bit negative and thinking a bit negative about things. So I'm going to naturally be negative. And now, like, I'm just thankful for everything that comes my way. It's, you know, I'm not all the time. Sometimes I might have those negative thoughts again, but you have to, you know, whatever you're doing, you know, I love to listen to music. I love to listen to classical music. When I've had a tough day, I'll go for a drive and listen to something that's soothing. And that really puts you into a lovely mood. It's everything affects how you think, you know, and for children, it's so important when they've heard a lot of the time. I mean, for me, doing the workshop with the boys today, especially the black boys, and they were writing, and I'm like, oh no, they know what's happened with all the racist abuse, but of course they would.
Yeah.
You know, I really, I feel for them, because a lot of the time they just see a lot of negative things to do with who they are in the media.
Absolutely, and I think black people do well, but I think that this magazine is amazing.
Struggling in this, yeah.
Coco Girl is amazing. I think young black boys are especially fragile, and that's not to take away from women's fragility either.
Yeah.
You know, there is, you're more like TV and see 3 or 4 pictures of black guys, they've just been arrested for drugs and than you are necessary to see like of women, like black men that, you know, black women, we don't even see us, right?
Yeah.
Stream, but black men, when you do see them, 9 times out of 10 they're either rapping, doing football, or something to do with.
But I said to the men in my family, because I realized that, I thought, hold on, I'm looking around, what is there that's positively driving these black men in terms of in the media or on the magazine shelf, or what is it? There isn't. A lot of things are sometimes against, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's why it was so important, the last cover we did, Raising Kings. You see that on the shelf. That's so positive, that, you know, no one's really done something like that. But it was important, you know, we just had this anniversary of George Floyd's death. It's still there. These, you know, as well as black girls needing to be affirmed, black boys and men do. Absolutely. It's very important. Absolutely. And if you think about maybe a child that's just not had that positivity all their life, and we wonder then why they go on to do certain things. Just imagine like a group of people, you know, men that's not seen anything positive about themselves.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Serlina, thank you so much for today. Thank you. Like,
thank you.
I was, like I said at the start, like I was so excited about this chat. I can't wait to go home and read these magazines. I can't wait to share it with my nephew. I really can't. I do have like my younger brother, but he's 18, so he's gonna be excited. He's gonna be excited. But yeah, I can't wait to share it with my auntie. My she's gonna love this. I really can't wait. But what you're doing is amazing. I'm so glad that you're getting loads of opportunities coming to you, and you know, for all the times that maybe you felt like you weren't good enough, or you know, you weren't given the opportunity and you weren't given a seat at the table. I don't think it's fair that we are told, if they don't give you a seat at the table, make your own. I don't think that's fair, but I think that by making your own table, you are inspiring so many of us. Like, I feel inspired. I can't wait to have children, because I will be able to give this to them. You know, and it might be a very long time, right? But the point is, like, even to know that I'm already excited for that, and it's such a small thing. There's going to be way bigger things or whatever that I do with my kids, but this is so important to know that we'll be able to walk into a store, that my kid will be able to see herself. And
just quickly as well, we will be doing some sort of cocoa night evening, me, Denise, Lorraine, and I'm trying to get one other person, and we're all in, you know, the industry, and we want to help people. That's what we want to do. So there's not just Coco, there's other magazines. Right. You know, I really do feel it's important that if you have an idea or a problem, sell the solution. So we've got Coco, but there needs to be more magazines, you know, that celebrate our culture.
Absolutely. And your Cocoa Nights, is that just like,
Yeah.
say again?
Yeah. What did you say? Sorry, you cut out.
Building, or is it like, do other women or parents come? Like, what is that?
Yeah, so Cocoa Nights. So I work at on Mondays and Fridays at the Airbottom. I don't know if I've said it properly. It's a lovely place, and they have a Monday three, like a night where you know you've got a little stage and you can have host events. And I just want to host an event where if people have been trying to publish a book or publish a magazine, they have the free tools that we will give them. Or want to get into the fashion industry, you've got Lorraine. Or you want to when you get into fashion industry, you've got Denise. You want to get into hair, you've got Lorraine. Like, just people from the creative industry that can tell you how to get there. Because I really feel that you pass the knowledge on. You don't keep it to yourself. You pass it on.
Well, I'll definitely DM you about that, because I have a platform called Music Industry Rules where I sit down and I speak with other people about how the industry. So I sat down with like a producer, a vocal engineer, other artists and stuff to impart knowledge. So if you need somebody to talk about the music industry and just give information and stuff, that's something I'm really, really passionate about. I'll definitely DM you about that after you send me your payment details so I can say.
No, don't worry about that. Seriously. At the end of the day, thank you for this. You know, it's been a brilliant conversation talking to you, and I really want to hear you sing. And maybe for Cocoa Nights, you can give us a special item.
I mean, do you know what?
I have a birthday party. Well, you don't know what's happening. You know, in August. Hopefully, I can have one.
When is your birthday in August?
The 14th.
Oh, I'm born on the 18th and my baby brother's born on the 13th. I knew I liked you.
Yeah. August. I know. So yeah.
But I know I will definitely DM you. Thank you so much for taking your time out today. Guys, just again, this is the CocoaGirl website. Please ignore my tabs. But some of the artwork, some of the covers, and some of the information that are inside the magazines. And please go to, what is the exact website? It's just CocoaGirl.com.
CocoaGirl.com. You get CocoaBoy on there as well. Yeah, and you know, I've finished the designs for Cocoa Teen, but it's just when we launch it, because I just need to make sure, like right now, we're moving our website onto a better platform, because sometimes it's just, you know, a lot of traffic and it kind of doesn't, you know, it goes a bit crazy. So we're just making sure that that's fine. And then I'm going to announce Cocoa Teen, and Cocoa Teen will be for secondary school children. But yes, it's coming.
Bro, sending lots of love, blessings, success, happiness, growth, just everything. And this is just very powerful. What you're doing is very powerful, and you absolutely be thankful for every person that told you no before, and you and didn't, why you wouldn't have got here. And it's very powerful.
Thank you so much again.
No,
yeah, it's so someone said, yeah, have a problem page in Cocoa. All of that is, if you only know, all of that is being thought of.
Mia that said she was being bullied. I think this is earlier.
I will message her. And who was that that's just messaged me? I will check. But Cocoa Teen is coming. I have somebody, I won't announce it yet, who I really want to be the editorial director of it, because, you know, they're incredible. And I just think, yeah, it's all going to come soon, but I just want to make sure everything is fine with CocoaGirl and CocoaBoy before we put out another title. Yeah. And then eventually will be Coco, which is just going to be a gorgeous, gorgeous magazine for adults. It's just going to be cool. That, you know, but yeah.
This is
That
what
will eventually come.
Honestly, thank you so much, Serlina. Have an amazing rest of your evening. I know it's nighttime now. It's about time to go to bed.
What
But
time is it? Because I was meant to jump on a line with the kids. Is it gone past 7? No.
7:41. I'm sorry, kids.
It's all right. What I'm going to do is I'll message them because I've got 2 tickets left for Space Jam. So I'm going to message them, and whoever replies actually not message, put up a post, and whoever replies first gets those tickets.
Okay.
We'll do it that way.
Okay. Well,
and Black Lawyer Circle, I'm going to check that out. Absolutely. That looks fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to connect you with Dope Black Mums as well. And like I said, I'll speak to my friend who's a teacher on Saturday as well. But I'm going to just continue to watch your journey. And I can't wait for Coco, just the Coco, because that's going to be on subscription for me. But I'm definitely going to get a subscription for my nephew.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you for the support. Thank you, everybody, as well. It's been a really great conversation. It's good to share. And I'm so thankful for platforms like this. So, yeah, thank you. I'm going to go and say goodnight to my babies because tomorrow is a long day. And, yeah, I need to,
Well, good
prepare.
luck. Good luck.
Yeah. And obviously, when we have something to announce, we will. But, yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah, well, fingers crossed. And again, lots of love. Thank you so much. And you can always check out my music. I did mean to say you can check it out on just Malika, or if you go to Malika officially, like my actual Insta page, there's a link to my EP. It's called Tension on there. So
on your Insta page,
on my Insta page, like there's a link.
Oh wow!
Type in Malika to Spotify or Apple or something. I should come up. I think. I don't know. Maybe. I hope.
Spotify. Do I have? I have. Yeah, I'm gonna get Spotify. I did have it, and then it's gone.
If you just type in Malika and then probably Go, that's probably my biggest song. But Malika Go, and then
Are you on YouTube as well?
Yeah, if you just type in Malika, if you type in Malika Go,
yeah,
my video will come up. I think that's like, yeah.
Oh wow. Okay, I'm gonna do that. I'll do that now.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Serlina. Have a lovely.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And Mia, message me please as well. And Cassie Styles, I've seen it. I will check it tonight. Your messages as well. But thank you, everyone. And yeah, have good evenings.
You love. Thank you. Take care. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye. Everybody, thank you so much for joining us for today's episode of Malika Talks and my Whitney Houston t-shirt. But yeah, we will be back next month with another episode of Malika Talks with another special guest. Thank you so much, Serlina, for being my guest today. Thank you so much for She Said So for the platform, and have a great rest of your week, even though today is Thursday and tomorrow's Friday.